We've received quite a bit of interest in my Free to Be workshop, so to that effect, beneath this video is a link that will give you a description for the workshop, and we've also included a special discount. So if that's something you would be interested in, I would invite you to click that link, and I hope that you would find the course to be quite beneficial. A question that I've been asked with some pretty strong regularity through the years is, hey, Dr. C, how do you sit there in your counseling office and listen to all the many stories you do of people's pain and strain and difficulties and maintain your sanity? And sure enough, I've heard a whole lot of stories with many different angles attached to those stories, and there is a lot of pain out there. But you know, I consider it such an honor and a privilege to listen to someone's backstory. We all have a backstory. There are all sorts of things that we can understand about one another that help us know about the choices that we've made or the motives that we draw upon or why we have certain emotional reactions. There's always something there, whether it's from your family of origin or your cultural background or your ethnicity, your education level, your religiosity, your peer relationships, unique experiences that may have come unexpectedly into your life. There's so many different factors that make up your backstory. And basically, it's me being able to say, I want to know your humanity. I want to know what makes you different from all of the other people out there. What is it that I can know about you so that I can know how to proceed much more fully with you? Now, frankly, learning and being curious about another person's humanity is not something that's appealing to the narcissist at all. They don't want to be in that position of knowing what's going on inside of you and developing the empathy that is implied in all of that, because that's something that scares them to death. Narcissists have decided it's way too risky to go into that human dimension with you because I don't know how to do it within myself. As part of the humanity, we do have all sorts of different things gurgling on the inside, and narcissists have decided this is not a trustworthy world. This is a place where I can get chewed up and spit out if I allow some of my humanity to be known. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to live with a sense of false superiority over other individuals. I don't want to know that stuff. I just want to hold myself above other individuals as a compensation for my fears. As a result, there are many different things that you'll notice about a narcissist pattern of living that shows that not only do they not want to get into your humanity, they will actually dehumanize you. We just call it the dehumanization process. The less they have to engage with you on that level, then the easier it is for them to live with their false narrative and all that goes with it. For example, these individuals have what I refer to as emotional constipation. They just can't access their emotions, and they don't want to talk about it. They don't like revealing it. Now, you'll see their anger, they can access that, but then all the other stuff, the insecurities, the fears, the inadequacies, the guilt, the shame that goes into all of that, the pride, the egotism they're sitting on, it's like, no, I don't want to get into that. As a result, they can come across as cold and relentless when it comes time to going into that space. Now, as long as things are friendly and fun, then they can be all right. But there is that coldness. I'm not interested in knowing about you and who you are that they project, and they can project very persistently. In addition, in part of their dehumanizing of you, they don't really like accessing respect towards you. As much as it is, respect doesn't come into the equation. As far as they're concerned, you're on a grading system. You are a function. And if they give you, quote, respect, and then all that means is, okay, you fit into my mold, so I'll be nice to you for a while. But that doesn't really tap into the sense of worth and dignity that respect implies. They don't know how to access that. As part of their dehumanization, there is a never-ending criticism. This implies that they want to keep you into a predictable mold, and when you step outside the mold, then you better get back into it, and if you don't, there's something dreadfully wrong about you. How many of you have felt like you just can't get away from that criticism? In addition, as part of their dehumanization, you'll notice that communication beyond a superficial level is nearly impossible for them to maintain on any kind of sustained level. They just don't know how to do it. They're afraid of it, and we all can just logically say, well, there's so much there on the deeper part of an individual that makes them who they are. Let's go there. It's like, nope, keep it on the surface. That's all I'm going to do, and I want simple answers. I want simple solutions, black and white thinking. That's all I want to go with. In addition, then, this can make it easier for them to be very calloused at times in the way that they treat you. They can go towards abusive words and actions and an attitude towards you. They can go into taunting and mocking because, you see, they don't want to see your humanity. They want to see you as someone to dominate. They see you as a nuisance when you try to go into that personal space, and that's their way of dismissing you. It's a very tragic way of doing it, but that's what they do. That's the dehumanization process. They will then, as they do so, they'll also show great lapses of logic. They can go into double standards. I mentioned just a minute ago, they can get angry at you, for example, but you'd better not get angry at them. And it's like, no, I don't want to go inside and find out why you feel what you do. You just need to do what I say. And so it's like, but that's not logical. And it's like, well, it is to me, and you just need to do it. And when you sit down and try to reason with them, reason is something that just, it went out the window. That horse left the barn a long time ago. In addition, as they're in their dehumanization of you, they can be unfazed by the pain that they generate in you. If you have a hurt or an anguish because of something they've done or said or patterns that they've been in with you, it's like, not my fault, don't care, you're talking to the wrong person. And to top it off, they may actually take that pain that they've generated in you and they'll run a smear campaign with other individuals. Look at this person over here. He or she is just such a difficult individual. And they don't want to relate with you in that human dimension at all. So as you try to understand narcissism and you come across all of the anger and the criticism, you realize it's part of their dehumanizing way of living. And again, it starts with them not knowing how to access their humanity, and they want as much as they can to shame you for the humanity that you bring. Now, and by the way, that's dehumanization. Now, as we look at the alternative style of this, there are so many different thoughts that we could come up with that refute that. First and foremost, let's begin with the realization every one of us is a mixed bag. When people come into my counseling office and they tell me about their highs and lows, it's like, yeah, I know you've had some good things happen to you. You've had some not so good things happen to you. You're a mixture. In more formal terms, we refer to as the dual nature of humanity. We have some things that we're prone to that are really good, some that are not so good, and then a whole lot in between. There's that duality. Let's make room for that, as opposed to trying to fit everybody into a nice, neat, predictable slot. In addition, let's also remember that relationships don't have to be turned into a competition. We're not here to try to best one another and play games of one-upmanship. Let's recognize you have yours, I have mine. Let's just use that as our beginning point for an equal-to-equal kind of exchange. As part of the alternative to this dehumanizing, let's also recognize, and this is a huge thought, intimacy only can happen as we do know each other's humanity and as we know each other's pluses and minuses and unique experiences. And we still learn to accept each other despite that. Intimacy is not about, just having moments where you have some funsies with one another. It's about knowing each other all the way to the interior and loving each other in the midst of all of it with whatever that brings. Likewise, as we go more into that human dimension, we drop any sense of shock about somebody else's differences or hurts or mistakes. We actually feel like we gain by going into personal discussions with one another. I'm a better person for having done so. And we take delight in knowing that we can be safe harbors for one another. I like being a safe person. I hope you like being a safe person. Narcissists, it's like they don't think that way. It's like, I don't care if I'm safe or not, just do what I tell you to do. And they don't want to go into that space. And so as you have these experiences where the narcissist tries to use this dehumanization against you, let's remember a couple of things. First, and when they treat you that way, it is not at all a commentary about you. This tells you a whole lot more about their hidden fears and their inadequacies and their lack of appreciation for what it means to be fully human. And then second, we're going to just say, consider the source. When they come at you with all of their criticisms and put downs, it's like, I know that I'm listening to someone who is a troubled soul who doesn't know how to do life well. That being the case, I absolutely cannot and will not allow that person to establish my pace in life or my quality of life. We're humans. It's just simply a fact. And so a person who dehumanizes and wants to reduce you to function is someone who doesn't get it. I need to stay away from that person being in my inner circle. And I hope that videos such as this give you some good insight into what you're living with and dealing with. If you've not already hit that subscribe button, I would encourage you to do so, and more videos will come your way. There's a notification bell when you do that. And we're here to be a resource for you in your learning. If you have a need for counseling, I would strongly encourage you to seek that out, whether it's with a person there in your immediate area, or if you'd like to zero in on the online counseling that we have that's part of our service here. We have a sponsor that will take you to a whole team of licensed professional counselors that can assist you in that. We have a link below that will take you to that. If you would find that to be helpful, I would strongly encourage you that you seek that out. I also have courses, and these are not just one-off webinars. We have those as well, and I thoroughly enjoy doing these, but the courses are multiples of videos with teachings and written teachings and questions that go along with that. This is me about establishing boundaries, free to be, finding your identity despite the controllers. We also have other media that we're on now, and we have books and many links below that will help you with our resources. I know that it's so baffling when somebody refuses to see you and your humanity and they try to dehumanize you. Give yourself permission to be what you are and realize that if that person won't and can't access, that's their loss. But I'm hoping that you can stay in a place of reasonableness, and in doing so, it positions you to be a person of peace. I want you to have your peace.